Hello everyone, hope you're well, enjoying your favourite fragrances today. And I know this looks a little messy, however, this is what we're going to be opening. It is Groove Escape from Xerjoff. So a little preamble with this. It is an eBay buy, and yeah, a little preamble with this. It's an eBay buy. It's sold as new, unused, and this is a little bit of a experiment to, like, so perhaps other people don't have to do this. Yeah. I saw this and I thought it doesn't look, it looks legit, but it doesn't look legit. And I thought, you know what, let's try something, and that has the high potential of being legit, sold as legit, just to see how good or terrible they are. If this isn't legit, it will be going back. So it's just more for, as I've said before in other videos, perhaps educational purposes. The education stuff you get into it. Right. Yeah, well, sort of worked. I'll hoover that up in a bit. Now, this is it. Sold as new, unused. Now, see, I've got quite a few Xerjoffs. Yeah. There's just a little something with this that, I don't know, it had alarm bells ringing, so I might be surprised. I say it was cheap. It was 70 English for 50 mil. Now, if that's legit, that's a really good price. If it's not, if that's counterfeit, then it's perhaps quite an expensive. Now, immediately looking at this box, I don't know if you can see that, it really doesn't feel authentic. So it's come apart there. It's almost like a cheap woodiness. There's crinkles in the leather there, and from my recollection, these type of stitchings is real on many of the ones I've got. Okay, so I've returned, and I'm getting, this is a legitimate, this is more than words, 50 mil. So I thought let's try. Now immediately I'll take it out of this box. Right, okay, so we've got that little bit done. Now, yeah, immediately there's a weight difference. That is wafer thin, like wafer light. That has got a heaviness. There's, so look here. Look, see how that box is coming to parts there? And there's none, absolutely no crinkles there. The stitching on this is actually real, authentic stitching. The stitching on this is like drawn in, like just printed on in gold leaf. So, right. So we've established the box is not the greatest. Even the graphics on this seem to be slightly substandard. It's almost like the card, sort of a cheaper card. I mean, it has got a batch code on it though. It's a sticker, and batch code is L29122D, though easily reproduced. So I'm looking online at the box here, and it looks really exclusive. And for 50 mil, it was 163. It's now 130 on Femorder. So let's go into this. Yeah, you see, immediately the box is different. I mean, look at that. That in itself says a lot, doesn't it? That's just been rattling around in there. Nothing like. Let's get this box out. See how that nestles in there with the leather inlay, and that where the bottle can sit nice and comfortably with very little movement, and it has these like boxed edges. Nothing on this like that. It's just a solid card. And even looking at the legitimate one online, it's, yeah, the legitimate online is exactly like that one. So this, I believe now, is 100% fake. Yeah. So something to take into consideration when shopping online. Now, I've done this purely out of like experimentation. It was bought for eBay, so I will be starting a resolution. Now, further giveaways. I'm just doing this just to help people become aware of what can happen when buying this stuff. That badge, you know, it's not completely on. It's plasticky. It feels cheap. The metal of the cap, this one is plastic, but it feels like a quality plastic. The metal of the caps, they even don't look the same. This one's the original legit is much more rounded and pointed, and it does have a slight bezel. This one doesn't. So absolutely sticking out like alarm bells ringing off this. The bottom, it does have the batch code on. Let's see if it matches. L29122D, and on this it is L29122D. So the batch numbers do match. Though again, that's just a sticker. That isn't difficult to replicate. Can't smell anything. Let's have a look inside the caps. Looks like an X in there. There's an X in there, so reasonably. I mean, even looking at the plastic X's in there, the black one looks slightly cheaper and thinner than the other. Difficult to make out. Okay, so they're the atomizing nozzles, and they do stand out quite differently, even though they're both gold. This is a paler gold, and the height difference for that section, the top with the hole for the atomizer, is longer than this. So there's a bit of ununiformity here. Let's have a little spray. I'm a bit reluctant to put this on. I'm not going to be putting it on like I ordinarily do. Let's just, yeah. So straight out the gate. So it's not new and unused. Now I will say this. Even though I'm pretty convinced this is fake, that does actually smell alright. It's sort of fresh, peppery. I don't know what the notes are on this. The olfactory top notes are cardamom, elemi, pepper, ginger. Heart notes, incense, mimosa, myrrh rose. Base notes, benzoin, labdanum, and cedarwood patchouli. So it does actually smell really nice. That's the sad thing about this, is it does. And I've had this with a few other potential like fraud ones. Is they do smell pretty good. I tried some fraud ones when I was traveling, and they were incredibly close. They were really incredibly close. There was some pretty decent longevity on a few that I tried. This is unfortunate. I haven't got the original to test it next to, but I don't believe for a minute this is legit. There's no way. The boxing, the packaging, the whole feel to it, the look. So why then would legitimate fragrance be in this? I can't see it myself, and this is a bit of a shame actually, because this does feel like a type of fragrance that I would like. So I may have to look for a legitimate. I mean, they were selling it there for 130 legitimate, 50 mil, and a heck of a lot nicer packaging. This probably really is one of those ones I'd like. Okay, so a little bit of learning there. I'm going to be contacting the person about this and letting them know and be getting some sort of resolution, because I don't think that's acceptable when one's selling it for no. And I do believe they actually said 100% genuine, and it's like, I mean, even that you know, that stitching there, and then this here printed on. I mean, there's not a chance Serjoff would drop their standards to that level. So yeah, it's just a real shame, because it's really quite nice. It's odd. I mean, who's doing these dupes and where are they doing them, or these counterfeits? Because they are actually capturing it quite well. The jury's still out on the Famine carved oud one, though. I do probably believe that is fake, and the feedback I've got of you guys, it probably is fake. However, it's a beast of a fragrance, and it lasts easy 10 hours. So I suspect this actually, oddly enough, this does feel quite quality. And that's what scares me about this stuff, that how close they can get. Well, it doesn't scare me, but it's sort of alarming in a way that it can come across as really quality and probably close to the original, and yet they're still selling it for the type of price that a niche fragrance would go for. So yeah, this is just for anyone out there, buyer beware. I do a lot of eBay and stuff, and when I looked at this, I suspected it was a fraudulent thing. So I went in there with that understanding, and I'd have been surprised if it wasn't. And this was just about the process of going through that, and to, yeah, I mean, there's a few things at play, isn't there? Is eBay allowing that stuff? You know, people, you know, the manufacturing process and all that. And if they'd got the box right and the bottle right with that, this would probably be 100% passable. I haven't smelt the original, so though if it smells anything like this, I'd probably be really inclined now to get the original. So let me know if you've had any experience with this fragrance, if you've had any experience with similar buying secondhand off eBay, and if you've bought any quality counterfeits, knowing the counterfeits and how well they've performed for you and that. I'm not going to keep this. Dupes are one thing, counterfeits are another. If something's like trying to be something else and it's a duplicate of it at a really reduced price, that's one thing I can understand. When it comes to counterfeit, it's blatant, it's a fraud in essence. It's stealing someone else's work and passing it off as your own. So yeah, I don't like the feel of sort of wearing that sort of stuff, even though it is quite good. So I've got quite mixed views on that. But yeah, I wouldn't want to encourage that type of behaviour in the industry, especially when one's paying good hard-earned money and they receive something that's not legit. So yeah, I hope you got something out of that, and just, as I say, buyer beware sort of stuff. I'll be getting straight on to the person now, but yeah, I wish you all the best, guys. Bye for now, and oh yeah, continue creating value in your lives and environment. Thank you. Bye.